Hey guys, welcome to the Ultimate Lower Body Warm-Up sequence. So when it comes to warming up, we have two main things that we're trying to do. First thing is to mobilize or release tight or adhesive tissue so that we can get into better ranges of motion, meaning we can get into better lunges, squats, deadlifts, whatever position we're after. The second thing is to increase blood flow to the area and to activate the smaller and stabilizing muscles so that we can better position ourselves when we're squatting or lunging to not have the small muscles be underactive and creating a lack of stability in the positions that we're after. So I'm going to take you through a really simple flow. Basically, going to follow along with me, and you can actually utilize either this or pieces or concepts of this the next time you're going to go train. So what we're going to do, I normally get clients to start. We're going to actually drop down into a squat, and we're going to sit. I'm going to actually grab my ankles and I pull as low as I can into that bottom position, and then from there elbows up, and I'm going to push the weight into my heels and then relax down. So I'm actually thinking about pushing the floor away and then sitting deeper, and what you'll see already is that it's starting to get easier and easier to get into that very bottom position. So I'm teaching the body here that, hey, you can sit here, you can hold this position, it's okay. So once I've got that, I'll normally sit into the bottom and use these elbows to kind of drive that knee out, opening up through that adductor line, where we'll start to see if we get too tight, normally the knees will collapse in. So we're going to do the opposite of that and basically just sit into that position through there, about 30 seconds or so. From there, I'll take my hands, wrap under, and I'm going to rotate, either driving with the elbow back or reaching up to the ceiling, and then the other way, up to the ceiling. And I'll do about 3 per side, holding just for a second or two at the top and trying to increase the range that that arm has. So from here, because I've been sitting in this position for so long, we're actually starting to warm up a little bit, everything's loosening off, and we're starting to increase the ability to sit deeper into the squat when we actually have a bar on our back. So from here, I'd really like to come forward, open up through the adductor line, just a couple of deep rocks, about 4 or 5, as we've shown before on the squat video. So I won't bore you with doing both sides. And 5, beautiful. And so from here, what you'll see is that we've started to mobilize the hip, allow ourselves to get deeper into the bottom position of a squat, and then increase the length relationship of the tissue, meaning that we can sit deeper, or we can lunge deeper, or we can bend over more in a deadlift, or whatever it is that we're going to be doing from the hips down effectively. So from there, the next thing that I'll do is start to increase the ability of the muscles to fire, to get warmed up, to activate, right? So one thing that I like is to simply use a little band, pop it around the ankles, and from here I basically utilize like a kind of a square dance. So I do sort of 2-3 steps across, 2 forward, 1, 2, 3, back, back. So I'm going to basically complete a little loop, and what you'll notice is with every step there's 2 things. So my toes stay straight ahead, but secondly, I don't let that tension come off the band. So from there, by keeping that tension on, the hips are externally rotating. I can really feel my glutes firing up and activating to hold me into that position. Whereas if I were to step there, now it's all relaxed, there's nothing really happening. So the second thing is the knees stay stacked over the toes. You'll notice what I see a lot of when people try and do this is they put the band around the knees, which is fine, but they do this. They let that band pull the knee in, which is the complete opposite point. So we have to externally rotate against it, across, 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 forward, forward, across, across, across. And just simply 3 or 4 rounds of that, you're going to absolutely feel that start to light up and work overtime. So from here, we'll take a quick look and see how things are feeling. But basically, now when I come down, everything's nice and tight. I can get my hamstrings to my calves. The weight's distributed through my midfoot, and I'm feeling really good, active, and good to go. The last thing that I'll sort of try to take care of is driving through with the ankle. So I'll sit into the bottom of like a deep lunge, pull the shoulders back and open up through there, and just do some nice, slow, controlled reps, continually squeezing this glute, pushing the hip through, driving that knee forward, and opening up the entire way. Sinking forward, squeezing chest tall, 2. And I actually feel quite a bit of a pull through that adductor line there for me personally today, but you'll feel different regions, different spaces, depending on what's tight, what needs work. And the last thing that I generally take care of is just kind of opening up through that actual hip capsule. So obviously you imagine the hips sitting in there, it's nice and solid, strong muscle or bone and cartilage, right? It's not really, needs a lot of force to start to move it. So generally I just use something simple like a leg swing where we can actually generate quite a lot of force and just allow that bone to relax out of the socket a little bit. So I'll do about 10 of those per side. But from there, that's all it needs to be, 4 or 5 minutes, and then you get to work, starting with your sequencing to get going. And that way, you're gonna feel 10 times better when you start training. You're not going in cold, just putting a bar on your back and trying to squat or go start lunging or whatever. So when you get to that movement, you're going to fall into the position easier, but you're going to be able to hold and maintain that position a lot stronger. We're not going to see that knee collapse as much or the body not be able to tolerate, starting like that, coming in and we're cold and we've got hip shift and all this stuff going on. So try that before your next workout. Let me know how it goes, and hopefully that's helpful for you.